Yay, we're here. All right. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Here we go. Yay. I'm so happy to see you. You don't have to have a pipette. I mean, obviously, if you do have one, it might make it a tiny bit easier for you, but I think you're going to have an easy time dropping your essential oils into your bottle. I have an easy time transferring it. So if you have an unsteady hand and it makes you nervous to do it, you know what I mean, then you're welcome to have a pipette. I don't wear a lot of jewelry on perfuming days because I know I'm going to get messy. But this is my favorite kind of messy, and I hope it's your favorite kind of messy too. I'm so happy to see you. Thank you so much. It's a cold, cold day here in Southern California, like legitimately cold. Not where you guys in Canada would make fun of us, but like legitimately cold. Although we say it's cold here when it hits about 60 degrees, you know, we're all bundled up and have our Uggs on. So anyway, let's get messy. So we have a lot of work to do today. We do every time. And you know what's interesting is there's so much work for us to do. And I'm finding myself really having to, and I'm sure you are too, having to pace myself. There's nothing like lighting a brand new bundle. I get so excited about a brand new bundle. This is a brand new one. So I'm just smudging you with some white sage. But I have to pace myself because I want to do it all right now. You know, I'm double fire, and I want to do it all right now. And we can't do it all right now. And the reality is we're not ready to do it all right now. So the medicine of ayahuasca is always slow down. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And we'll get all the information that we need as we go. You're very welcome. It's a little bit of a smudge for you. It's just nice to sort of center you and bring you into the space. And then I always like to smudge multiple times. I'm going to smudge you again when we work with our herbs. So if you have a charcoal disc and you want to experience some of the oils from tonight and some of the herbs by burning them, which, you know, if you've been with me for a while, you know that that's originally where perfume began. Perfume in Latin means through smoke. And so in ancient times, they didn't have distillation processes, right? And so if they wanted to smell something beautiful, they had to burn it. Perfume, through smoke. I love seeing you guys connect over all the things in the feed. That makes my soul happy. If you haven't, you know, had that experience yet, I will tell you, you have family in this group. Family that you haven't met yet. Soul brothers and soul sisters. And you might be surprised that there are people near you. Again, if you're new, ask, you know, post and say, hey, I'm from such and such place. Is anybody else close to me? Because it might really surprise you to find that there's a soul shifter practically in your neighborhood, no matter where you live in the world. Thank you, thank you. Well, I always say it's what you guys bring to the space is what makes the magic. It's each of us bringing our little part of what we're doing together that creates the beauty that we have. So, and you can ring your bell if you have it. Our work here tonight has begun. Thrilled, thrilled, thrilled to see you. Well, let me bring you down. Let me ground you. Let me center you. Tonight we are talking about herbs, oils, and perfuming, of course. Gridding, and we're going to activate your mini mesas tonight. We're talking about Solfeggio frequencies. I want to say a quick note about what these are, a little bit more, because we haven't really talked about them too much, but I want to talk about your talismans. And don't worry if you don't have your talisman yet. You know, they are coming, but the talismans will come to you exactly when you need it. We talked a little bit about this last time. I have really come in my practice to believe in this concept of perfect time. And perfect time isn't always my time or your time, but it will be. And my intention, by the way, with the talismans, this is my clear quartz one. I put it on silver. I took it off the cord and popped a bail on it and put it on a chain. But that's the same talisman that you have. And I'll come to your questions in just a minute. But what I wanted to say is, My intention is that you're going to have these 13 talismans by the time the year is complete, because you'll have one for each month of 2019, and then you'll have your obsidian, which was technically for December of 2018. And my intention is that you will use them when you need them. So when you need clearing, you're going to bust out your obsidian talisman. When you need love, you're going to work with next month's rose quartz talisman. And so over the course of the year, I want you to begin working with intention with these pieces. They're very powerful pieces. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what they are tonight. And so we haven't lit our candle yet or anything. I'm just smudging and kind of, bringing us into the space, and then we will light our candle tonight. We dedicated our tools last session. So if you missed session 1, you want to make sure you watch that, because that's when we dedicated our tools, which means basically opening the mesa and pronouncing game on. If you did get your January Mesa necklace, then you're welcome to wear it tonight. I'm wearing mine, but you don't have to have it with you. You could be wearing your obsidian too. So everybody who got the January Mesa gets a clear quartz. The main mesa, the big mesa, everybody gets a clear quartz. For some people it didn't come, only a few people, but for some people it did not come with their mesa because we were a little behind in production. So we sent the rest of their tools so that they would have their tools in time for tonight. And then we're paying extra shipping on your behalf to send you the talisman second. Does that make sense? So some people don't have it, and that's why. I just wanted to kind of clarify that. Awesome. So, you know what? I'm going to try to get these for you. I have a friend who makes these bales. They're like clip-on bales, but they're sterling silver. Here's the issue, though, and I'll show you just candidly, because I've been thinking about this. When the donuts are bigger, when the pie stones are bigger, I don't know that bale is going to work. That's about as big as a diameter as that one can work with. So anyway, I don't know what the right answer is, but I kind of like the idea of putting it on silver. I was interested. Yeah, they're like little pinch bales. If anybody else knows of a place to get those, could you share it so that I can direct people? Because I would love for you to be able to have one if you want one. I just don't have a source for it. And my friend who makes them by hand, so it's not like they're not made, in volume or anything, but it's kind of cool, right? That's kind of a different take on it. So yeah, and you can wire wrap it. Yes, Diane Cerrone, right? Absolutely, you can wire wrap it. So you can take it and make it your own too. And I kind of like that. Kind of like the idea that you would personalize it in that way, and maybe like figure out a different way to wear yours, and then you can inspire all of us. And okay, so I'm going to start by talking to you about the frequency, because everything else is going to happen, and then I don't want to run out of time to talk about sound. I'm going to assign you a frequency tonight to listen to for the rest of January, and I'm going to lay out the next 9 months of frequencies for you. This will all be in your classroom. You don't need to worry about this, take notes, nothing, okay? We will have all the information for you. I just want you to listen and learn. And I'm actually going to play the first frequency for you tonight so that you have a little bit of a sense of how it sounds. And the first frequency, interestingly enough, is for pain relief. So, and I've been working with it because I have just ongoing sciatic nerve issues all the time, as I tell you, and I use lots of different means to control it. I use our Ultimate Pain Relief Balm and oil, which is very effective. I use heat, I use massage, I use sound. There's lots of different ways to work with pain in the body. Pain, of course, is always a message to you. Pain is data. Pain is your body telling you, and this is really important for you to hear tonight, pain is your body telling you that there's a contraction happening. Not you're about to have a baby contraction, not that kind of contraction necessarily. But when you experience resistance to something energetically, when you are in a state of resistance, you tense up. Relaxation, surrendering goes like that, right? Like all melty, gooey. But when you are resisting something, you go like that. And what does that do to your muscles and to your nerves? Everything pinches. And so that's the origin of disease, is resistance. You resist, you contract, right? The pain, the contraction hardens and crystallizes and magnetizes that frequency of pain to you. And then if you don't respond to that pain by being curious about it and trying to understand where it's from and what the resistance is and how you can soften that resistance, then the pain sort of solidifies it and continues to crystallize, and then ultimately can devolve into degenerative conditions. And so I really want to share that information with you tonight, and then we'll dive into everything else that we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and light my candle, and you are welcome to do the same. When we light our candles, we invoke the element of fire. Fire is very important for movement, for learning, for inspiration, for creativity. When you light your candle, you invite all of those energy streams into your ritual space. It's a really important gesture to light your candle, so you are welcome to light your candle now. It's interesting, right, Santa Priya? And so just like I did last time, I'm going to try to hold questions to the end, because a lot of you said that you really enjoyed the pace of last time's class, that I sort of stayed focused and on task until the end and then tried to respond to all your questions there. So I'm going to try to do that again tonight. We can always go with the flow. If you guys decide that you like me to integrate more questions as I go, I'm really open to that. But I think that sort of staying focused and on task serves both of us. That way you make sure you get your questions answered, but then I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not moving back and forth stream of consciousness. Just remember your question. Is all I want to say, because if you're like me, like I'll say, oh, okay, and then by the end, I've completely forgotten what my question was. So if you're like me that way, I think it's menopause, but whatever it is, you might want to write your question down so that you remember to come and ask. Okay, good. I'm glad that works for you too. Focus first, and then we can play and ask questions later. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. My giant mug. I'm on ayahuasca dieta. As most of you know, I'm going into Journey overnight Thursday. And so no kombucha. I'm doing a Tulsi tea, Tulsi rose tea, which always sits well with Journey space for me for whatever reason. I just think she likes it. This is the one tea that really, really doesn't seem to upset my journey or my stomach and just helps me kind of stay calm through the process. Gerardo's got wine. I love it. Okay, so let's get started. I want to begin by talking about the solfeggios. Two things I want to tell you, just in case you need to go gather supplies. For activating our grid tonight, you're going to need a double terminated quartz or wand. This is a wand that I always use for activation, so this is what I'm using. It's got a ragonite in the middle, which is for organization, and so I find it's a really good wand for activating grids. All you need is a double terminated quartz point. It can be this big, it can be that big, it can be smoky quartz, it can be quartz with inclusions, it can be rose quartz. It just has to be quartz, because quartz is needed to activate all other gemstones, because it has the highest frequency of any of the crystals in the mineral kingdom. You can absolutely use a Vogel, doesn't really matter. If you don't have one, try to get one for next month. And what I'm going to tell you is activate with your finger, okay? Because your finger is actually the second most powerful tool that you have to conduct energy. So fake it till you make it. But we have them on sagegoddess.com. You can find them probably at your local metaphysical shop too. So just try to get yourself a little double terminated wand for your collection. It's a good thing to have. For next session, which is Wednesday, it's our shamanic journey. We're journeying with Ganesha. We're going to start by repeating Ganesha's mantra. And so I would love it if you had a mala. This is what a mala looks like. A traditional mala has 108 beads. Again, you don't have to have one, but if you have a mala, bring it with you Wednesday so that we can share in Ganesha's mantra before we begin. Yes, you're so welcome. Okay, I'm just checking the feed really quick to make sure you're okay. Hey, Deborah. Selenite, Tara, will not work, unfortunately, because it doesn't activate. It has to be a quartz-based wand. But again, if you don't have it for tonight, use your finger. Your finger is actually more powerful than selenite. When it comes to opening a circle, selenite's more powerful than quartz, because selenite holds, anchors, and clears. But you're not trying to hold, anchor, and clear tonight. You're trying to activate. So those are two different energies. And so you want to have quartz for grid activation, and then you want to have selenite ideally for opening a circle. Does that make sense? Very, very cool. Oh my God. Louise, remind me to mention the Magical Mail subscription at the end. Will you remind me? I don't want to talk about it right now, but that came to me in Ayahuasca Journey too, and I really haven't talked about it yet. And it's the most beautiful series I think we've ever created, so just remind me to talk about that later. And I also have your questions too, so we'll try to do as much as we can tonight. We'll see how we go. Okay, so the Solfeggio frequencies. Sound is a magnificent healer. And I'm going to tell you briefly about the story of the Solfeggios. So the Solfeggio frequencies are a scale, a lot of you know this, but some of you don't, that was developed by a Benedictine monk, okay? in 1000 AD, and it was taken from a hymn, a Christian hymn, that was sung to St. John the Baptist. So what I love about it is the solfeggios, the significance and the interpretation come out of the Christian tradition, and are backed up by math, okay? And actually even supported by Nikola Tesla, and I'll show you the connection there. This is big magic, okay? And I really haven't talked about the solfeggios. You may, again, know about them on your own, and maybe I'll teach you something new tonight that you don't know. But it's new to my students, at least from me, so I'm super excited about sharing this with you. So the spelling is Solfeggio. And again, you don't have to take notes because my team's taking notes for you all year long, and they'll just be in your classroom. So you just get to listen and learn and enjoy, and let my team do the hard work of trying to keep track of all this stuff. I really wanted you to focus this year, okay? Okay. So what I wanted to read to you in Latin is the actual hymn to St. John the Baptist, okay? So you've heard of the scale do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? The solfeggio scale is ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. And if you've ever wondered where that comes from, it comes from the Latin prayer to St. John the Baptist. Here is the Latin of that hymn, and then I will give you the English translation. Are you ready? Ut queant laxis resonari fibris, miragestorum famuli tuorum, solve polluti labii reatum, sancte Ioannis. I'll say that one more time. Ut queant laxis resonari fibris, miragestorum famuli tuorum, solve or solve polluti labii reatum, sancte Ioannis. The English of that is, in order that the slaves might resonate the miracles of your creation with loosened vocal cords, please wash the guilt from our polluted lips, O St. John. Okay, so this was a request made to him to purify them, to sanctify them, and to liberate people from whatever enslaves them, which is a really interesting backstory, right? Okay, now, here's where it gets really, really, really interesting. I'm going to show you my shitty notes, okay, but that's all I got. I'll give you the written version on your classroom page. So each of the frequencies has the megahertz, right? So 174, is the hertz, 285, going down to 396, 417, 528, and so on. And this is what they do. But go with me on the numerology journey, okay? 174, if you add up the numbers, reduces down to 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. All the solfeggios reduce to either 3, 6, or 9. 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9. Do you see that? They all reduce to 3, 6, 9. Are you with me? Okay. So this is why, if you know the quote from Nikola Tesla, and I'm gonna butcher the quote a little bit. I didn't write down his exact words, but he basically said, if you know the magnificence of the numbers 3, 6, and 9, you hold the key to the universe. So there is a code, you guys. I've got chills all over. There is such a code hidden in these frequencies that you should play them at least once a day. And on the website, the notes I'm giving you has the frequency and the exact meaning, why you would use it, including a little bit of text about, just to give you a little more color. It's interesting, right? And so what a lot of people I know, healers I know, they leave their house for the day and they turn up that solfeggio in their house to heal their home, to charge their crystals, to heal their pets, to protect their home from unwanted intruders. I mean, all the things. And I will tell you, before I started learning about that practice, I never really thought about leaving my home and turning on the music. You think about leaving your home and turning off the music, right? Not leaving your home and turning on the music. Really, really interesting. So the first frequency, and here's what ayahuasca told me about the solfeggios. And yes, she told me about the solfeggios and that you had to get it this year. What she said was, I'm to take the first 9. There's basically a total of 9. Some people say that there are 5, but really there are 9 solfeggios. And I'm to assign them to you from now through the end of September. And then for October, November, and December, You are to choose a frequency. So then you can go back and choose to work with the pain relief frequency again, or you might choose to work with the God frequency, right? 432 megahertz. You can kind of choose after that. She wanted you to have playtime. So I've got my computer open. I'm going to play for you 174 megahertz, which is the pain relief and sleep helping frequency. Calms you down, doesn't it? If you go to YouTube, you can search the frequencies, and there are endless recordings of them. Okay, so what I didn't put in the classroom document are links to YouTube, because you can quickly go in and type in 174 megahertz, and automatically you'll see pain relief, pain relief, pain relief, pain relief, right? And what I love is on YouTube, they're all about an hour to 2 hours long. So all you got to do is turn that baby on and then lay down and relax. You will be amazed. Now I can also, there are chakra correspondences. I don't want to get too far into it tonight because for lack of time, but I can also, if you'd like, I'll put the chakra correspondences in your notes too, because each one does align to a chakra. So that's an extra little like layer of correspondence. Really beautiful, right? Yeah, and so you'll have to kind of like play with it and see, do you like to work with it in the morning? Do you like to work with it before bed? A lot of people really like to work with it before sleep. Okay, so I will add the chakra correspondences. You're going to love it. I mean, what I'm going to try to give you is a little mini encyclopedia into each frequency so that you can really digest for yourself what each one means and when you should use it. And then, like I said, toward the end of the year, you'll be like, I'm not feeling good, I've got pain, I'm going to use this one, or I'm not sleeping well, or I need to find a solution to a problem. 528 megahertz is the DNA repair. That's the holographic interdimensional healing frequency, 528. So if you're like, I've got this, you know, if there's disease in your lineage, for example, 528 is really helpful. If you're trying to like heal not just yourself, but heal the line, that's where you want to go into that DNA repair. Really cool, isn't it? So Santa Priya plays them all the way through the night. So yeah, Sierra, my team takes notes for you this year so that you get to just hang out, enjoy, watch me, listen, learn, hang out with your friends in the feed, and you don't have to try and take notes and keep up. So that was a gift to you this year to try and do that. Okay, so 174 is our frequency for January. And that's the main thing I wanted you to know tonight. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to tell you. No, I think that's pretty much it. Such good stuff, right? And it's funny because you might think, well, how does sound relate to everything that we're doing? It's all relevant. Like using the sound, using the herbs, using the oils, using the gridding, right? Using the shamanic journey, and then the integration work that we're going to be doing, creating your sacred craft, creating your medicine bundle, setting your intention, opening the space. I mean, this is high ceremony. And so if there wasn't like a sound correspondence, I would almost feel like part of the, you know, a layer of the cake would be missing, because sound is so important. And I'm sure you know this, but you know, the pyramids were built in order of the chakras, actually, and they were sound chambers. They weren't burial chambers. They were sound chambers. And so what the priest would do would be to discern whatever your issue was at the time, then they would take you to the pyramid that resonated with that frequency. And again, those frequencies aligned to chakras. The Egyptians were highly familiar with the energy centers, right? That's original knowledge. In fact, many people say that the Vedas, the ancient Vedas, the Hindu text that we consider to be a primary text, right? One of the original spiritual and religious texts actually comes out of Atlantis and Lemuria. So all of these things I'm sharing with you tonight and all the way through our class have massive lineage. big old lineage, just like you. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So I'm going to keep going. Like I said, if you have questions about this, just hold on to your questions. And when I get to your questions at the end of the session tonight, then I'll come back and respond to as many as I can. Oh, and your crystals love the solfeggios. They do. Really, really, truly. Just like your crystals love being in singing bowls. You can put your crystals into a singing bowl and strike the singing bowl and just let the sound, you know, fill up the cells of those, the elemental core, right? The actual crystal structure of your crystals vibrates to the sound. And so it activates all of those energies that are otherwise laying dormant. It can activate them. It's another way to activate your crystals is to use sound. Okay, so let's dive right in to our work with herbs. And I'm going to start with herbs because and all of them are important tonight. The oils are important, the stones are important, the herbs are important, but the herbs in particular have some really interesting lineage. And I will tell you that I chose the herbs for your medicine bundle. You know this piece that we're making during session 4? Yeah, sound does clear your crystals, and it activates them, and it clears them, and it cleanses them of other frequencies, other energies that might be attached to them. So this is what we're making session 4, is your medicine bundle. And I explained this to you during last class, but all of our fabric comes from one large piece of fabric, one large tapestry that has Ganesha. And so each one of us has a different piece of the same fabric. And so when we make our medicine bundles in a week, next week, they're all connected. Yours is connected to mine, is connected to every other person in this group. And I think that's going to add a whole other layer of magic and energy to the work that we haven't experienced before. So I'm very excited about that. Okay, so let's start with our herbs. If you haven't been with me through Arrow Magic, for example, last year this was the class where I taught herbs and the essential oils. I kind of go through one by one, and I try to lay out as many of the relevant metaphysical properties to you or for you as I can. And what this is going to do is not just enhance your knowledge and your wisdom, but help you choose what you put in your medicine bundle at the end of the month. You don't have to put everything into the bundle. It really should be an alchemy of the herbs and the oils and the crystals that you feel like align to whatever your intention is for your medicine bundle. And since you're making a medicine bundle honoring Ganesha, which is success, overcoming obstacles, I would really, really urge you to consider, and I'm telling you this now so you think about it as you're hearing me tonight around the herbs, I would really encourage you to make a success bundle. Where in your life, what part of your life would you like to be successful in this year? And it can be all aspects of your life, but you could say, you know what, I really want to be professionally successful this year, and define what that is, and choose the tools, the herbs, the oils, the crystals to go into your medicine bundle that align with that. Or maybe you really want to be a successful parent this year. Maybe parenting is where you're really putting your energy, or into your primary relationship. I want to be a successful partner to my partner. And then putting all of your intention and your energy. Career and finances is great, right? So, oh, I love some of the suggestions that you guys are coming up with in the feed. I'm really excited to see what you do. Okay, so what I like to do is really have you experience the herbs and the resins and the woods. For example, we're going to start with red sandalwood. By smelling them and touching them and coming into relationship with each one of them. So I'm going to have you open your pouch of your red sandalwood, put just a little bit into your hand, and bring your hand to your nose. Now, one thing you need to know about red sandalwood, it is the least scented of the sandalwood family. So you're not going to smell as much. You will smell a little bit more if you burn it. And so you can pop just a little bit of your red sandalwood onto your charcoal. Make sure mine is really lit there. And it will release a little scent there when it's burned, more than just if you're holding it in your hand. My little charcoal disc. There we go. Now we're cooking. I'm just getting a little bit of smoke from that red sandalwood. And then you can smell it. It releases more of its fragrance once it's burned, as do most of the resins in the woods, by the way, that you work with. Okay, so let's talk about red sandalwood. Pterocarpus santalinus is the Latin name for red sandalwood. And here's what I love about it. Red sandalwood has historically been thought to carry your intentions directly to the gods. That's why I put it in our January Mesa, because what we're trying to do, especially with our medicine bundles, we're trying to send up our prayers, send up our intentions, send up our wishes to the gods, and activating that lineage with Ganesha around the Hindu gods, who are known for hearing your prayers and responding to them and bringing whatever it is that you seek. It's really different, right? So the element is fire and earth, and ironically, it's linked to Venus. It's linked to Venus, but because it's red, a lot of people think that red sandalwood is from Mars, because of course the color for Mars is red. Yeah, so there's a little bit of red sandalwood on top of your candle. That was a good catch that you guys noticed that. So what we tried to do with the candle topper is put a little bit of the herbs from the pouches from your mesa into your actual candle, so that the energy continues through the kit. So every time you burn your candle, you're also working with your herbs in a different way. So I'm glad you noticed that and you're enjoying it. It aligns to sun sign Taurus, and it activates the root chakra. And so as you're working with red sandalwood, one of the things you'll notice, and this tends to be true of all the sandalwood members of the family, but in particular with red sandalwood, you'll notice a feeling of safety and comfort and grounding. Like if you just burned it with me just now, I want you to notice, do you feel slightly more grounded right now than you felt maybe 10 or 15 minutes ago? Some people say they notice more of a focus, an ability to focus, and that's why it helps with meditation, because it keeps you in the moment, you know, especially if you're like me. When I'm meditating, I mean, even now after all these years, my thoughts will start to go, right? Like I'll be meditating, but I'll be thinking about, you know, did Zoe forget her umbrella today when she went to school? And so I have to consciously bring my thoughts back to the meditation. And so sandalwood, whether you burn the white, the yellow, or the red, because those are the three main colors and forms of sandalwood. So whichever one you like. I love white sandalwood too. That's one of my favorites. And in a lot of our Sage Goddess products, you'll find white sandalwood as well. But it does bring you back. You know, it brings you back to the present moment. Okay, it is aligned with the direction of south, and the medicine wheel, element of fire. It removes negativity, it brings success. It is used to purify and consecrate tools. The smoke of red sandalwood is thought to help you dedicate your spiritual tools to your practice. So that's another sort of simple ritual that you could do, and something you could carry out throughout the year in Soul Shift, actually, is if you wanted to, every time we go to session 1 and we dedicate our new Mesa tools, you could burn a little bit of red sandalwood and just pass it over whatever incense burner you're using, just pass it over your tools. It'll just add that extra layer of ceremony, and it'll help you dedicate those tools and consecrate them in a beautiful way, which I love. I love adding, you know, ceremony to my rituals in whatever way I can. In the Zoroastrian tradition, which is a really magical lineage as well, an ancient lineage, it was considered a fire offering. And there are 3 levels of fire in the Zoroastrian tradition, sort of akin to the 3 worlds, right? Lower world, middle world, and upper world. Because remember, all magic has a common thread. So that's how it manifests in the Zoroastrian faith. And so they would make an offering of red sandalwood smoke to the lower fire, to the central fire, and to the upper fire. I think I mentioned healing, grounding, protective. Has a sedative effect too. So if you burn it and you're really inhaling it, it might soften you, soften your field, soften your focus. So it'll help you focus, but it'll keep you from being agitated or experiencing deep levels of stress. And that's how it sort of brings you gently into the present moment, because it removes some of the anxiety and the attention that you might, or some of the anxiety and some of the distraction that you experience in your day-to-day life. Ha! Ruth says she's getting hot. Yeah, isn't it interesting? And it's interesting how the different traditions, you know, weave these same tools in. And they're weaving them in very common ways. It's fascinating to me, actually, how that happens. So that is red sandalwood. And like I said, and I'm trying to give you practical uses, too, so that you remember, okay, next month, session 1, I'm going to take my sandalwood from the January Mesa and keep it on my altar and use it to dedicate my tools. It'd be a beautiful practice. Next up, it's the mother's herb. This is motherwort. This is my favorite, I would say, of the whole set of 4, although bay is a tough competitor because I love bay leaves so much, and we'll talk about bay in just a minute. But this is motherwort, so if you want, you can experience that as well by putting just a little bit onto your charcoal. little bit for you. I pass it to you because I still think energetically you can experience it. That might seem silly to you, but I believe that energy, you know, is not bound by space and time, which means that I can offer you a little bit of my smoke from here, and on some level you're able to receive it too. I really do believe that. Isn't it beautiful? I love the smell too. Okay, so there's a lot of interesting stories about this one that I want to tell you. Ready? Leonoris cardiaca. The word cardiac is in the name, in the Latin name. And one of the reasons I give you the Latin names, by the way, and I'll be doing that all year long, is there are stories hidden in those Latin names. Some people think, oh, you don't need to know what the Latin names of your herbs are. But those Latin names are the lineage. So if you don't know the Latin names of your herbs, I feel like you missed 25% of what's going on here, because our ancestors embedded the narratives about these herbs in those Latin names, and it's important for you to know. So Leonoris in Latin means lion's tail. And that's because the motherwort plant, if you see the original, the mother plant, it looks like the tail of a lion. It sort of grows that way. And then cardiaca means obviously heart. And this was used as a heart disease treatment for actual cardiac defects and cardiac disease. Used as a tea, used as a tincture. Very interesting, isn't it? Okay. Comes from Spain, Germany, Asia. Ours is North American. It's widely found in North America as well. But here's what I love most about this herb. It's called the highest good herb. Highest good. And that's because when you set an intention using motherwort, it guarantees, it sort of sets the broader intention that the highest good of all will unfold. And, you know, that's one of the really important things about ethics and magic. You never want to set an intention that's purely for your highest good without also asking that the highest good of the collective unfold. Does that make sense? And so what I love about this is as soon as you put this in your medicine bundle, or as soon as you add this to your incense blend, or, you know, add it to your tea, you're automatically telling the universe that you desire the highest good to unfold on your behalf. Isn't that cool? It's my favorite thing about it. It's not something you find easily, like that's not sort of commonly known information about this herb. And so part of what I give you are little tidbits that I've learned over the years from my teachers and working with these medicines in different ways. It's also hugely powerful for female health conditions. It's thought to ease the pain of childbirth. It definitely helps with menstrual cramps. There's a lot of documented research about that. I know, Diana's like, I want to use it all the time. So here's what I have to tell you, and it's good that you asked. I have to tell you, as someone who sells herbs, that they are not for ingestion. What you choose to do with them is up to you, but I have to tell you that legally. So I have to tell you, no, your herbs are solely for burning and for decoration and not for ingestion. But that is my obligation to you. Does that make sense? That's one of the lines I have to toe. But people do what they will with their herbs, as you know. Yeah, right? Well, so Rachel, I'm just telling you what I have to tell you. So if you were to go and make a tea with it, so it is. But I have to tell you that as a professional who is offering them to you in that way. Does that make sense? Yeah, so La Luna said, could you use it in conjunction with malachite? Absolutely. And this is where stone and herbal medicine gets so complementary and interesting to me, right? Like, yes. Because malachite's the doula stone, it eases labor pain, right? And so, yeah, you give a new mother, like, wouldn't that be fun to make a healing kit for a new mother? This is where you become medicine woman and you start putting things together, and you give her a green candle or a pink candle, right? And then you give her a piece of malachite, and maybe you put it together a tea for her that has blue lotus and chamomile and a little bit of motherwort in it to help her, right, experience a more peaceful and sane delivery. Like, it's just, I don't know. Or make a medicine bundle, right? And you would include malachite in that medicine bundle if you're making one, like, for a healthy pregnancy medicine bundle. Wouldn't that be beautiful? And then you could, again, incorporating Venusian colors, right? Venus's colors, which are usually pink and green, sort of heart chakra colors. And that's where this work gets really, really interesting, right? A midwifery or midwifery bundle would be really beautiful. Ashley's got a great question. What do you do with medicine bundles? You just keep them in your space. Think of them as anchoring the work that they are meant to do. They're holding the space. And some people leave them intact forever, and some people take them apart in ceremony and bury the ingredients separately. I still have a medicine bundle that one of my first teachers made for me 100 years ago, and the little thing is still intact and it's still beautiful, and it holds the space. You know, she's not an active teacher in my life anymore because she retired, but I feel like I've got her in a way. You know what I mean? Like, because her love for me was bound up in that bundle, and her wishes for my learning were bound up in that bundle. And so anyway, it'd be really fun for you to get in the business of making bundles. I think people around you would love it, and I think you would really enjoy it too. I'm so glad you like it. Okay. It promotes spiritual healing, motherwort, inner trust, confidence in the universe. This is why I put it in here too, because it's aligned with confidence and success, which is big time the medicine of Ganesha, right? Here's another thing that it does. Now you're going to see why I'm obsessed with it. It shifts old energies of the heart. That relationship you never quite got over, that way you're still angry at your mom after all these years, I think of it like the barnacles on your heart. We all have them. I have barnacles too, like just old shit that I'm still working through. And so it shifts those energies on a really subconscious level, but it helps you to sort of release them. It takes the stinger out, as I like to say. So that's another really beautiful way that this herb works. It's associated with Freya, of course, who's the Norse goddess of everything, love and war and fertility and beauty and all the things. And is very helpful for astral projection. Very protective of women, children, and families. So that's motherwort, right? Danielle felt it too. So if you're doing a medicine bundle, let's say you're doing a heart healing or heart releasing or barnacle releasing medicine bundle, dioptase is the business. Dioptase is a stone of karmic release. And so that would be a really good crystal. And I'm hoping to bring some home from Tucson because it's super rare. It's from the Congo and it's hard to find. It's expensive. So I'm hoping to find some affordable pieces and I'll bring them back for you. Okay. Next up, I don't want to just take us away from beautiful motherwort, but we have two more herbs to talk about that I think are very important. So we have cedar berries. These are your cedar berries. You're going to fall in love with cedar berries too. Did you know they're anti-cancer? They are. They have something called a podophylotoxin in it, which is an anti-cancer agent. And so that's well documented. These you'll find in the American Southwest and throughout Mexico. Pretty easy to find cedar berries. I know, right? It's also known as the one-seed juniper. That's another name for the cedar berry tree. It clears spiritual residue. So just like motherwort for the heart, cedar berries do that for the spirit. So if you've got past life karmic stuff you're working through, stuff you did in a past life, or stuff that was done to you, cedar berries are very, very helpful for removing that energy and transmuting it. Okay. Purifying, aids in healing. In medicine bundles, it brings good luck and prosperity for the year ahead. So I'm not going to tell you what to do, but when it comes to your Ganesha medicine bundle, I think at least a few of these should be in there. One thing to think about is next month's Mesa, which, by the way, you have till midnight tomorrow to subscribe if you want the February Mesa. I think you know that. But next month's Mesa has we're doing love bottles, little love spell bottles. And I would highly recommend maybe keeping the motherwort, a little bit of it, to put into your spell bottle for next month. I think you'll really just remember that I told you that when the time comes. I know. Yeah, so try that on your charcoal. That's going to be yummy, especially because it's going to mix with everything else that you've already put on there tonight. Get mine going again. There we go. Starts to cook a little bit. Oh, that's yummy. Get in there, little guy. Isn't that beautiful? I love, 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 love. Okay. Juniperus monosperma is the Latin name. It is considered a fire element offering. Aligns to the sun. Sun sign is Sagittarius, and solar plexus is the chakra for your cedar berries. It cleans hoocha. Yeah, it does smell a little bit like popcorn too. It cleans hoocha. What is hoocha? I'm going to be teaching you about hoocha. I talked about hoocha when I was live today. Hoocha is the low dense frequencies in your body that come when you're sad or nervous or angry or have the low vibration emotions. You establish hoocha. And hucha then turns into pain, and then pain turns into disease. Okay, so hucha in Q'ero shamanism is the first step toward disease. And hucha is what you feed to Pachamama. Pachamama eats hucha, okay, and then digests it and returns it to you in the form of usable light energy. So cedar berries actually are known as a vibrational tool to consume hucha. Pretty interesting, right? Yeah, medicine bundle is session 4. We're not there yet, but I'm telling you a little bit about it tonight just because I want to like plant some seeds, and that way when we come to session 4, you'll already have some ideas in mind of what you want to do. They attract luck and prosperity. They have similar properties to Salvia apiana, interestingly enough, because again, think about that. Salvia apiana, which is white sage, also clears hucha. There aren't a lot of things that clear hucha. Not everything does, right? Palo Santo doesn't clear hucha as much as white sage does. Palo Santo heals. Palo Santo kind of comes in like a vacuum cleaner and heals and cleans up after hucha clearing. It's only harvested in cold months, so it's considered to be a wintertime medicine, and also protects from theft. That's one other thing I wanted to tell you. So some people put cedar berries at the 4 corners of their property, out toward the edges. Sometimes they combine that with black tourmaline. They create sort of like a home grid or a property grid, and that's a very effective way of also protecting your home. Right? Then you add your Solfeggio frequencies, and your house is on lockdown after all of those things. Yeah, for sure. Black sage mugwort, Lisa, does clear hucha. Mugwort, black sage, very strong, powerful purifier of hucha energy for sure. So does copal. Copal clears hucha like nobody's business. Very, very effective. And then the last herb for tonight is bay laurel. Laurus nobilis is the Latin. You hear the word nobilis, right, in Latin, which is the root word of the word nobility or noble, right? So it's regal, it's royal, it's of a higher power. Aligned to the fire element, sun, planet is sun, and then the sign is Leo. It's considered to be the tree of the sun. I love bay so much. You saw me use it when I set up my teaching altar, because bay leaves can be used in place of coca leaves in Q'ero shamanic tradition, or in Q'ero shamanic rituals. It is thought that if you break a bay leaf in half, and I take half and you take half, in relationship, it'll keep us both faithful. So, promise not to cheat on you. That's actually legit lore. There are people here who really do that practice. Pam, I would love you to make some hucha clearing popcorn. Pam owns an amazing popcorn company. Legitimately, she really does. It's amazing. My team freaks out whenever we get a shipment from Pam, because she's kind enough to gift us sometimes. And can you imagine a hucha clearing popcorn blend? I think it's in the works right now. And then the other reason I put this in here, by the way, is that when you write your intention on a bay leaf, my teacher says it magnifies the power of your intention tenfold. So the first thing I'm going to have you do when we make our medicine bundles, and if you don't have the mesa, just know that and grab some bay leaves, is write your intention on your bay leaf. Now, it's actually going to be one of the first things I have you put into your medicine bundle. Right? Yeah, Pam just got a bunch of business, which honestly you should. Pam's a miracle worker when it comes to her goodies. There's nothing like it. Okay. Let's see. What story did I want to tell you? It is said that the oracle, Pythia, the oracle at Delphi, used to chew on bay leaves before she would offer her visions. I think that's less true than the real story of the oracle at Delphi, which is that she was sitting on a gas leak. So all those really super fun fumes were coming up, and that's what opened her third eye, her pineal gland, and allowed her to experience those beautiful visions. But I like the story of her chewing on a bay leaf. So I shared it with you because that's just legend and lore. Laurel is sacred to Apollo, the sun god, which is why it's called the tree of the sun. It's healing, protective, purifying, and it banishes energy. And like I said, it is said that when you write your intention on a bay leaf, that your intention must come to pass. Must come to pass. Very interesting, right? No, she was. The oracle at Delphi. By the way, I'm going to be taking you live to Delphi in May. Did you know that? I'm going to be taking you live to Delphi because I'm going to be at the Oracle. And I'm going to be taking you live in Grasse, France to the major perfume houses in May. That's one of the benefits of your Soul Shift membership. Nobody else is going to have access to that. And so I'm actually going to try to take you down into the underbelly of the Oracle to show you where the break in the foundation was and where the gas would actually come up through the floor. Yeah, you have a lot to be excited about this year. You have so much to be excited about this year. But yeah, and I'm going to take you around the Oracle because I want you to see the ring of bay trees, and I want you to see the ring of rose bushes, and I'm going to take you to see the ring of the cypress trees. And now this is really happening. So that's coming in May. That's at least 2 of the stops I'm going to be taking you on live in May. Pretty cool, right? Subject to internet connectivity. If I can't go live, I'm going to record it and then post the video afterward. But yeah, you have a lot to look forward to. Okay. As you know, people who win big prizes, right, get the laurel wreath, and that's because it's associated with victory, which is, again, why I put it in this month's kit, because when you make your medicine bundle, it'll be really cool for you to have the marker of success from ancient Greece to modern times. The last story I'm going to tell you about this, I'm like trying to tell you all the things as quickly as I can. Yeah, you're so welcome. I'm glad you're excited. I will take you on vacation. All you have to do is be live on our Facebook group, and you'll be able to see all the things. By the way, I will give you a heads up when that's happening. So you're not going to be like, oh, I missed it. I will let you know. But I also want to tell you that my Elder Council incense was inspired by, and I've told this story many times, by a man who owned an incredible metaphysical shop in San Francisco, who shared his recipe with me. And he said that bay was the most important ingredient in his particular incense, and which is why, as I adapted my own blend and developed the Elder Council incense, which is based on his original recipe, I included bay leaf, and it's always the first ingredient in Elder Council. So in the perfume, there's bay, laurel, essential oil, and in the actual incense blend, there are crushed bay leaves. Leo Fire in there, which is really important. We've got a total lunar eclipse and a full moon in Leo on Sunday. If you're not feeling that energy already, you'll be feeling it soon. And we're doing live ritual, by the way, on Sunday. Normally we have our full moon rituals during the week, but we have to do it on the day because that eclipse window is time limited, and so I want to make sure we rock the energy of that. I'm glad you're excited. Okay, now let's move on to, those are our herbs. Let's move forward to our oils, and we're going to make our perfume together, and then we will grid, and that will be tonight's class. Are you having fun so far? Yeah, Cynthia says she's feeling way too much already. It's no joke, these eclipse windows. They're very powerful portals. And really exciting portals too, but it can be overwhelming, you know, especially as an empath, and in the times that we're living in, which are full of disordered energy anyway, it just sort of magnifies the intensity of all of that too. Okay, so let's talk about your oils. I'm so glad you loved them. That Mogra Attar, which is jasmine sambac, but it's Indian jasmine, so it's different. I'm really glad that you liked that one a lot too. Okay, so we're going to start with star anise. There's a reason behind all of them. So star anise is in your set this month because this also needs to go in your medicine bundle. Star anise in Native American tradition is a very important offering to Great Spirit. So I want you to take your bottle and I want you to inhale 3 times. That is star anise. So star anise, of course, represents the sacred star, which the sacred star represents the 4 elements plus spirit or ether. And that's why it's considered a really important offering to Great Spirit. It is the totality of the wheel or the ring of magic, as they say. The Latin is Elysium Verum. And there is, verum, of course, in Latin means truth. Think that moved into the word veritas. And then, of course, came into the English language as veracity. You hear the word veracity, which means, you know, the extent to which something is truthful. And so there is a belief, there has been historically a belief that star anise was a truth serum of a sort, that by smelling it or by working with it, you'd be able to discern truth from fiction. And so that's kind of why, like I said, you have to know the Latin names because there's always a story built in there somewhere. Elisio means to entice, and so that's the connection. It's to entice the truth or to summon the truth. And again, I think that's why it makes such a beautiful offering to Great Spirit. If you think of Great Spirit or source or God or goddess or however you think of that highest power, isn't it a source of truth? And isn't it, don't you want to entice that truth in your life? Don't you want to attract that truth in your life? It brings success in love, money, and health. It brings good luck and new opportunities. It is purifying and cleansing. And this is really interesting. 90% of the world's star anise crop, let me read this to you, okay? 90% of the world's star anise crop is used to extract shikimic acid, which is used to make Tamiflu, which is an antiviral drug used to treat the flu. 90% of the world's star anise is used to make Tamiflu. It is antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal, anti bad things. So that's good to know. It's a powerful aid in divination. It's known as the spiritual spice. And again, I think that's because that idea of making it an offering to Great Spirit is anchored in all of these major spiritual traditions, right? It opens the gates to heaven. It pleases the gods and is considered an initiatory oil used in sacred rites of passage. And that goes back to some of the Greek and Roman mystery schools, the Egyptian mystery schools. We have documentation of star anise being used in high ceremony in the mystery schools as well. Okay, so that is your star anise. Sagittarius, by the way, is the sign, even though it's aligned to elements of air and water. And when I share with you the elemental correspondences, I want you to reflect on our last class, think about what elements you're missing, and maybe also add certain herbs or certain oils to your medicine bundle based on either adding more of what you already have in your chart to magnify what you are, or balancing what you don't have by incorporating some of those oils and those herbs into your medicine bundle as well, right? Exactly. No, so Yvonne says, do I need to purchase the full mesa to participate? Not at all. I mean, obviously you may not have all the things that I'm talking about, but hopefully you're still really enjoying the process of learning about everything, and I think that's valuable too. So I would say stay with me. And then, by the way, if anyone does want the February mesa, just remember to be sure to subscribe before midnight tomorrow. Be sure, be sure, be sure. Okay. Blue chamomile, Matricaria camomilia is the Latin name. Isn't that beautiful? That's your blue chamomile. This is, the planet is Sun, the sign is Leo. This is a fire element, even though I would tell you from my own experience, I think it's a little watery. When I work with blue chamomile, I always feel like there's a certain amount of water element energy, and it's not just because of the fact that it is a true blue chamomile, but it has that energy. So Jill Lathers was like 2 steps ahead of me. It feels watery to me, even though, you know, technically by most people's records and information, you're going to see it associated with fire. And then throat chakra is what it activates. But the planet is the Sun, which again is a fire planet. So I would say fire or water, right? It feels watery to you too? I think so too. It's very sweet. The blue chamomile is sweet. The regular chamomile is not. So 3 deep inhales here. Yes, and all of these oils are in your candle. So you are enjoying, again, there's like a multi-sensory experience happening with your mesa. You're enjoying all of those oils in your candle as it burns, even while you work with the essential oils separately. Woo. Love, love, love. Okay, this helps you find your voice. It helps you be brave, and it helps you be bold. It attracts love and money. It brings protection to the doorways and entrances to your home. So I would consider this a very powerful thresholding tool. So one of the things you could do, again, to create more ceremony in your life is go around the doorways of your home. This is a really fun one, actually. And this is a tradition that a lot of healers believe in. Even Catholic priests believe in anointing the 4 corners of the doorways, especially the entrances and exits to your home. I have one main entrance and exit, so really it's just one door that I would be anointing. But if you have multiple, anoint all the entrances and exits, and then just one drop in each corner, and say a prayer. May all who enter here be blessed, and may all who exit here be blessed. Simple as that, but it's a very important thresholding oil for you to use. It is a sleep aid. It is highly anti-inflammatory. And again, it's thought to have properties that reduce inflammation. There is some conversation about anti-cancer properties as well with chamomile. And you can take it in tea form if you want to work with the energies that way. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, the blue is tricky to find. That's why the mesas are important, because of the fact that some of the things we offer you are hard to find on their own. But you can always work with regular chamomile as an alternative, because they do share a lot of the same metaphysical properties. So don't stress too much if you don't have it. And then the last oil, I saved your favorite for last. That's the Mogra Attar. Jasminum Sambac. That is your Mogra Attar. Mogra Attar is the Indian name for jasmine sambac. And what I love about Mogra Attar, this is why it's different. They steam distill the jasmine petals, and then they reduce it down and they add it to sandalwood oil. So this is actually a combination of jasmine sambac and sandalwood. Isn't that cool? So it's like the best of both worlds. Love it so much. So those of you who are like, I smell the jasmine sambac, but there's got to be something a little bit different, it's the distillation process. That's why attars are so absolutely beautiful, because they steam distill those very delicate jasmine sambac petals, and then they take the reduction and they add it to sandalwood. Isn't it cool? Okay, this is Earth and Water. Planets are Mercury and the Moon. Signs are Cancer, Capricorn, and Pisces. The chakras are solar plexus and heart chakra. This is a big time heart opener. This is an aphrodisiac, but it's also highly meditative, relaxing, soothing to the central nervous system. This one is going to drop you right in. I wouldn't blame you, honestly, if you made your whole perfume just with your Mogra Attar, although I'm going to try to convince you to add something of each of the other notes to balance it out a little bit, because I'll tell you something, that blue chamomile makes that Mogra pop. And you'll see that in just a minute when we blend together. Okay, this is offered to Lord Shiva in Hindu ceremonies. It is said to attract men and women equally, so if you are an equal opportunity employer, I don't know what will come to you, but could be all the things. Brings peace, serenity, relaxation, and deepens intimacy with partners. And again, it brings the men, it brings the women to the yard, so whatever you're looking for. Promotes spiritual love and desire, and is perfect for anyone in need of serious heart healing, which I think a lot of us in this group are that. Oh, boo! Corinne just had a spill. That happens sometimes. That's okay. Wherever it spilled needed the blessing of those beautiful things, and so that's why that happened. Okay. So what I want you to do now, I'm going to teach you the art of perfuming. Are you ready? We may go over a little bit again tonight. I'm trying to keep us on time, but I don't want to rush us either, so we will do the best we can to stay on time. I want you to take your oils, take all the caps off. So 1, sit them down gently, carefully. 2, and 3. So when you're doing perfuming, you always add your essential oils to your blending bottle before your carrier oil. If you add your carrier oil first, you'll never quite understand the true essence of the scent. It will dilute the oil before you even blend it. Does that make sense? You do not want to do that. And so what I want you to do is I want you to take 2 oils at a time. I'm going to start with blue chamomile and the Mogra Attar and bring them to your nose together. That's going to give you a sense of what that perfume would smell like if you blended the jasmine with the chamomile. And that's beautiful. And then what you can do is hold one closer than the other to see what it would smell like if you privileged one note over the other. Okay? Then try integrating one of the other oils to see a different duo. This is the jasmine with the star anise. And that's beautiful, but sharper. Okay, the star anise kind of sharpens it, intensifies it, but I like it. It makes it pop just a little bit. Do you see how it makes it pop? Is that your blend? Yeah, well, that's because Mercedes. That's because it's over sandalwood, so it has a slightly different edge to it, and I thought you guys would enjoy that. I thought it would be a nice complement to the red sandalwood that you have in your kit as well. So what I want you to do is I want you to decide whether you're going to do 2 or 3. You should at least do 2. Be a little adventurous, right? The star anise does take over. So star anise is not unlike lavender. As soon as you add even a drop, it's going to smell like star anise. So what I want you to do is start with the softest of the 3. Don't start with the sharpest. Start with the softest of the 3. And I would say for sure that's the Mogra Attar. And so I'm going to add my entire dram to my bottle because I really want the intensity of that Mogra. You, of course, are welcome to save some if you want to use it for a different purpose. In fact, I'm not going to use it all. There's quite a lot there. I'm actually going to use about 2/3 of it. I'm not going to use it all. It's still going to be the primary note in my blend. Ah, that makes me happy. I'm so glad you guys are having fun. It's like playtime for grown-ups with magic. It doesn't get much better than that. At least in my life, it doesn't. Okay, now my next one that I think I want to add is the blue chamomile. And I'm just going to add a drop or 2. I want the medicine of blue chamomile, but that's not really the perfume I'm trying to create. And what I love is, with 2 or 3 drops, it's just the energy. It's not taking it over. It still smells very much like jasmine forward. Still jasmine forward. Okay, now I want to make that jasmine pop. By the way, you can blend this any way you want. I'm just kind of walking you through my process. Okay, now here's where you have to be careful because you can really screw this up. Okay, so the rule with essential oils and perfuming is you can always add more, but you can't take it away. So be gentle, okay? Doesn't it, Crystal? She's like, it isn't my favorite, the star anise, but it complements the others. So I'm really going to go drop at a time, just go very slow. Again, if you have a pipette, that's great. I don't find that I need one. Okay. And then what I like to do is put my thumb over the top of the bottle and just turn it to mix, because you want to make sure you're smelling the actual mix. It actually needs more star anise, interestingly enough. So I'm going to go 1 more drop. Okay, I'm going to turn it. And then you know what's interesting? I'm finding that I need to go back now and add the blue chamomile. Well, actually, no. No, I think that's it. I think that's it. It does smell a little bit like licorice. I think that's it. Mine is the Mogra Attar with a drop of the chamomile and 2 drops of the star anise. And remember, it's going to cure. So curing is the 24 hours after you blend, but before you start to use, because the oils have to sort of do their dance with each other. And it really does happen. Curing is legit. It's a real process, and you have to allow time for it. And then what you want to do, what I like to do anyway, before I add my carrier oil, I like to blow my breath into the bottle. And you'll hear your breath. And I like to say a prayer over this bottle. So I want to first thank the plants that yielded these beautiful oils for the gift of their presence and their essence and their energy. We're so thankful to you. I also want to thank our beautiful mother plants of our herbs and trees and resins that came forward to work with us this evening. And I want to bless this blend to do all that the medicines offer, which is to attract love and success and abundance, to bring you to a deeper level of spiritual practice, to help connect you more powerfully with your spirit guides. That's all the medicine of blue chamomile and star anise and the Mogra Attar. To bring more beauty into your life so that every time you smell this, you feel the beauty around you, you sense it, and you appreciate it on a deeper level. And may everyone who works with this oil, including me, be blessed by it always. And together we say Amen, Aho, and so it is. Sealing that prayer. It's so yummy. This is super yummy. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add your carrier oil. And if it's too slow, you can always take the dropper off. Mine's a little slow, so I might do this step later just to save us time. But what you're going to do is you're going to add your carrier oil. Do you see how mine is about to the halfway point? You're going to add the rest of your carrier oil to get it up to the top. And you're going to do that because you don't want to apply essential oils directly to your skin all the time. That's called neat application, and some essential oils are irritating. These not so much, but some of them are. And so you want to make sure you dilute before you apply to your skin. And then after we grid, what I'm going to tell you is if you would like, you take a chipstone or one of the crystals from your grid and add it to your bottle, or any crystals from your collection. And then what you're going to do, the last step on your own, you don't have to do it right now, is I want you to name your perfume. And I sent you a label with your kit that matches your mesa, and then you're going to attach your label, and that's your anointing blend for this month's theme, which is intention setting and success with Ganesha. So this is your brand new custom Ganesha perfume that you made all by yourself, but with me and with your community, which I think is super special. Yeah, so Crystal doesn't like the anise. I totally get it. And so I only added that little bit just to make that Mogra pop, and it really, really does. So I'm so glad you guys like it. Well, if you don't like it when you put it on, just remember that there is a medicine and a purpose for this blend. And so you can look at it two ways. You can either choose to add more oils that you like to the blend and make it more custom to your purposes, or you can leave it as it is, even if you don't love it as a perfume, and recognize it as a medicine, as something to anoint with when you're setting your intentions at the new moon, or when you're calling in a new energy stream, or when you're trying to attract the qualities and the properties that these oils represent. Did you enjoy? So you can add a little bit of herb to your bottle if you want. You can put some of your sandalwood chips in there. Like, this is where you can really get creative and customize. You can bling out your bottle. You can glue all kinds of stones around it and make it really beautiful. Like, this is where you get creative. I've given you kind of the basic, but then you can take it to your own whole other magical level if you want. And I would encourage you to do that. I think that's really fun. Okay. Now, last but not least, we are going to turn our attention to our mini mesa and our grid. So if you have your mini mesa, which is your intention generator, and your charging disc, you can do this with a double terminated wand, or you can do it just with your finger. So no worries if you don't have the tools. What I'm going to ask you to do is hold your generator in your left hand and hold your double terminated wand above it. This is how we charge a generator, okay? And I want you to close your eyes, roll your shoulders back, and I want you to imagine an energy line extending from, remember that a generator attracts energy from underneath, and then the energy line extends from the tip of the generator up through the cosmos to the stellar gateways. And so I want you to imagine that what you're doing right now is you are plugging in to that energy line to activate your mini mesa. If you don't have your mini mesa, you could just watch and play along. You're still learning how to charge an activated generator, which I think will serve you in your practice. This is still a good tradition for you to work with and know about. Oh, mine's self-healed. That's really cool. See that line all the way around it? This line? That means at some point in that quartz generator's development, it cracked and healed itself. It's really cool. Usually people charge more for those because they're special and they're important to healers. So whenever I see a self-healed, I get really excited. Because the theory is if it healed itself, it can heal you. You know? Pretty powerful stuff. All right, so Great Spirit, see us as we anchor in tonight to that energy line. Raising the frequency of our intention, raising the frequency of our desires, aligning our energy stream to the energy streams of all that we seek in the new year, helping us to connect deeply and powerfully to the medicine not only of this month, but of the entire year. As we work with these generators in the month ahead and in the months ahead, in the year ahead, help this to be a talisman, a reminder, a sacred tool, a generator of energy to continue to align us with that which we seek. Always asking that as we set our intentions, we also call in what is good for the collective, asking that the highest good unfold in perfect time. And together we say, Amen, Aho, and so it is. that little generator packs a punch, man. My hand was shaking from it. There's a lot of vibration coming out of that tool. And then putting that back in its right place on your mesa, which is just to the left of your heart center. And then what I want to show you, and I'm gonna try to do this in a two-handed way, but just bear with me, I'm not left-handed, but I want to show you what I'm doing with my grid. So I'm going to bring my camera down, and I'm going to show you my grid is right here. And so the motion that we're going to do together, I just want to show it to you briefly so that when I'm doing it, you know what I'm doing, okay? When you activate a grid with your double terminated quartz point, you touch the center point. This is your pyramid right here. And then you go to the uppermost outer point above the centerpiece, okay? So you're going to go from here out to that quartz point there and touch. And then you move inward back to the pyramid, and then to the innermost crystal here, to that illusion sunstone, and back to the pyramid. Then out to your kyanite and back to the pyramid. Then out to the quartz point and back to the pyramid. Then to the tanzanite and back to the pyramid. Then to the kyanite and back to the pyramid. Then to the quartz point and back to the pyramid. Then to the sunstone and back to the pyramid. Does that make sense? And you're going to do that all the way around one time. When you get back to that quartz point and then come back to center, you're done activating there you are. Okay. When you come back to that center quartz point, or that last quartz point, you are done activating your grid. Does that make sense? Okay, so I want to briefly tell you about the crystals, and then we're going to activate our grid together. And then I will leave some time for questions. Okay, so the crystals in your grid are super special. I'm going to start with the most special of the crystals in your grid and work out to the ones that you're probably more familiar with. Illusion Sunstone is from Tanzania, and it's mined out. It doesn't exist anymore. That's what makes it so super special. Some people call it confetti sunstone. The little flakes inside of your illusion sunstone, and you can absolutely activate your grid with Reiki, 1000%. That's just that's how crystal healers activate grids, but you certainly can use Reiki to activate anything. And please feel welcome to do that. Okay. This is illusion sunstone that was in your kit. Do you see the little colorful sparkles? They call it confetti sunstone. And it has hematite inside of it. So the reason I chose this crystal, in addition to it being just super duper rare, I'm not even sure how we got our hands on it. We were just very lucky to get it for you. This stone is called the Safe to Shift stone because it's the stone of leadership and protection. So this is like, you are safe now. This grid tells you you are safe to clear old energies, to use your intuition, and to move forward confidently in your work this year. That is the energy of this grid. And so as we activate this grid tonight, and there's 2 sunstone, 2 tanzanite, 4 kyanite, 4 quartz points, and a clear quartz power crystal, power cube. How much do you love the 9 triangles on the bottom of your pyramid? To our talk about Tesla earlier, right? Okay. So the crystals, there's actually a space on your grid, you guys, on your mesa, that tells you where your crystals go. So let me show you. So you've got your pyramid in the center, and then your 2 illusion sunstone top and bottom, and then your 2 tanzanite side to side, and then above on the outer corners of your sunstone and your tanzanite, that's where your quartz points go. And then the kyanite go by themselves at the cross quarters, northeast, northwest, right, southeast, southwest. Does that make sense? So the sunstone goes at north and south, the tanzanite goes at east and west, because that's air and water, and then the kyanite goes northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So that illusion sunstone is fire element, sun is the planet, Libra and Leo are the signs that it corresponds to. And then your clear quartz is Storm energy, meaning it's alchemy energy. It's the energy of all of the elements combined. Planets are sun and moon. Signs are Leo and Cancer. If you don't have a wand, by the way, use your finger is my guidance. You do not need a wand to activate your crystals. It's just a nice to have, but you can certainly use your finger, which is your second most important magical tool after a double terminated quartz point. If you're missing a sunstone, please email magic@sagegoddess.com and we will do our best to get you a second piece. I want to make sure that you have all of your crystals. Black kyanite is also storm element, all of that alchemy energy. Jupiter and the moon are the planets, and the signs are Taurus, Libra, and Aries. And then tanzanite from Tanzania, which is the most powerful third eye stone on the planet. It's a member of the Synergy 12 grouping of crystals that was named by Robert Simmons. But I work with the Synergy 12, totally believe in them, and it's the third eye member of that particular family. Tanzanite is air element, planet is Uranus, and the sign is Sagittarius. So those are all your correspondences for your crystals. Yeah, so whatever your projecting hand is, not your receiving hand, your projecting hand, that's the hand and the finger. And I usually use my index finger. That's your royal finger, right? That's your directing finger for energy. And so that's what you should use to activate your grid if you don't have a double terminated wand. Okay. So, Great Spirit, work through our hands tonight, whether we're using our tools or using our finger to activate this grid. Help us to raise energy for success, intuition, and clearing in our lives to help pave the way and open the doorway to the greater shift and transformation that we know is already unfolding in our lives. Help this transformation to unfold with ease and in alignment with the highest good, not only for ourselves, but for the collective as well. Okay. And so again, starting, I wonder if I can just turn this so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. Can I do that? And then bring it down. Ooh, I can. Yay, look at that. I can do that. So again, starting in the center, you will find that this is an intense meditation. I go into trance when I do this. So I'm going to go quiet for a minute and enjoy, and I want you to go quiet for a minute and enjoy it too. Are you ready? So starting in the center, and with every touch to your crystals, I want you to imagine calling in the energies that they hold. So that clear quartz is bringing magnification, that sunstone is bringing leadership, that kyanite's bringing clearing, quartz for magnification, tanzanite for intuition, clearing, magnification, leadership and protection, clearing, intuition, magnification. And then technically, when you're done, when you go back and repeat that first stone the second time you're done, I'm going to go through one more time. Out and in. And so our grids are activated. We ask that that energy shield over our grid remain in place until we deactivate and deconsecrate these tools at the end of the month. Amen, aho. And so it is. Coming back to you. That helped though, right? For you to see everything. I wanted to make sure you could see what I was doing. Kermie's riding the moon over there. And so I want to thank all of the elemental guardians, element of air with our herbs tonight, element of fire with our candle, element of water with our essential oils. Such beautiful elemental work that we did this evening. And of course, element of earth, working with our crystals. We activated all 4 of the elements, all 4 of the chambers of the medicine wheel. We thank the guardians and gatekeepers of those elements for being present to us and allowing us to harness their magic, their energy, and their power for our use in the month ahead. Aho! Session 2 of Soul Shift is complete. Oh, I'm so glad you guys enjoyed that. Most people's dominant hand, by the way, is their left hand. Or, I'm sorry, most people's projecting hand is their right hand because that's the masculine. And most people's receiving hand is their left hand. I tend to receive in my right and project with my left. And so what I say is go with the flow. I know, it flew by. That was so crazy. But now I'm going to stay for a few minutes and answer your questions. If you have to sign off, I completely understand. But I'm going to stay with you for about 15 minutes to either take your questions here in the feed or to respond to some of your questions that are here from the Facebook group, which I really appreciate your feedback and your input there as well. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I can certainly point you in the direction of some books to help you with herbs. What I will tell you is they're all very incomplete. You know, everybody uses Scott Cunningham's encyclopedia of, you know, of herbs, his sort of pagan Wiccan encyclopedia, except he says that all the herbs are for protection, and that's not possible. So if you guys have a great herbal reference book that you love, it might be nice for you to share recommendations too, so that everybody can sort of, you know, gather and be able to learn from each other and know what tools you're using as well. Beautiful. Okay, Magical Mail subscription. This is what I want to tell you really super quickly, not to convince you to buy it or anything, but just because I want you to know it's there. In Ayahuasca Journey, so we stopped doing a Month of Magic. I don't know if you noticed that, but we don't have Month of Magic this year, but we do still have Blessing Box. It's the Magical Mail, right, subscription. In the past, that's been a different thing every month, and it was kind of disjointed. So this year in Ayahuasca, she told me that she wanted the 12 months this year to be mantras. And she showed me this wood lotus thing. Okay. So I went to the man, my team and I went to the man who creates these custom wood pieces for us. We did one for Pillars of Priestessing, if you remember that, a couple of years ago with the talisman. And he made this candle holder carved. I mean, it's intricately carved wood, this lotus candle holder. And each one of the petals comes with your blessing box each month. And so at the end of the year, you're going to have this massive candle holder with these 12 petals with all of the most important mantras from the sacred traditions. It is so beautiful. So thank you, Louise, for mentioning it, because I haven't said anything about it and people are just sort of finding out about it secretly. But it's really beautiful. And so if you wanted something new for your space, something that was birthed out of brain and journey, and I mean, there's nothing like that in the world, and it's amazing that that artist was able to go and create what I saw in my mind. It's really incredible, you guys. So I believe Team SG just put the link up for you so that you can see. So the link is right above where you were. I actually don't even know the pricing of the subscription. I gave the idea and the inspiration and helped to build all of the tools in it and then kind of handed it off. It's the most beautiful though. The art, Gabriel did the art on the new lotus flower tool set, and wait till you see the candle and the perfume all have the mudra associated with the mantra. So the words are on the petals, and then the tools all have the mudras, of course the hand positions that go along with it. Isn't it incredible? So anyway, I just want to put it out there. It's really, really beautiful. Okay. Let's see. Draw a diagram for how to activate the grid for the nodes. What I might do is make a video of myself doing that. I think a diagram might confuse you more than maybe just a quick video to put in the classroom. Would that be helpful for you? Because I'd be super happy to make that video for you, and I think it would help you a lot. Let's see. Let me go back and make sure I've checked your questions really quick. So just remember, you have till midnight tomorrow to subscribe for the February Mesa if you want one. Because of the demand, I don't think we're going to have any separate listings that are not subscription based, because we have to sort of go off of the subscription allows us to plan. But this year, more people want the mesas than we can keep up with. Like we're having everything handmade, and so it's really hard to even get the amount that we need for the subscription. So I don't think we're going to have individual mesas in February. Okay. Interesting. Susie says there is an earth frequency that is at 7.83 hertz. I'm not familiar with it, but I want to look into it. So I will make a mental note of that to go back and check. And Susie, thank you for mentioning that, as I love to know about the different frequencies, and that one sounds very interesting as well. Okay. Let me see. You guys are funny. Are there any chipstones you should not add to your perfume? Not necessarily. I think almost anything could work with this blend. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that wouldn't work well. I think that, you know, quartz is always going to magnify, so that's always something good to add. And then if you think about the properties, which is luck and prosperity and beauty and happiness and fulfillment of wishes and dreams, you know, I think about stones like, what would be really good for that? I'd probably put a little bit of citrine in there, maybe some green aventurine for new opportunities. You could put a little bit of Mookaite jasper in there, so that's a beauty stone that attracts more beauty into your life. Not just physical beauty, but spiritual beauty. Yeah, selenite. Selenite would melt, so I don't think I would put selenite in there, even though that's a beautiful stone for joy. Calcite also wouldn't sit well, probably in a blend for a long period of time. Rhodochrosite would be really beautiful. Sunstone's really good. Cindy put it in by accident, but honestly, like what a beautiful use of your illusion sunstone. And sunstone is hardy enough that you can sustain it in there. The kyanite would be perfect in there. Jade, oh my gosh, Jamie just recommended jade. Perfect choice, because it's got a lot of those properties, right? Longevity, tenacity, good luck, prosperity. Jade's really powerful. Larimar rosemary would be beautiful, and Larimar is going to be able to sustain itself in there. Of course, Larimar comes from an underwater mine, so it can sit in liquids forever. Purple and yellow fluorite would be really beautiful, Michelle. Again, that's going to be fine in there. That'll be just comfortable in there. Thank you for that, Larissa. I see you. It's really beautiful. LaFawn, Team SG, can you find out an answer to LaFawn's question? Because I don't know, but it's a fantastic question about if she missed the January kit, will she still be able to get the mantra? So I want to make sure we get you an answer about that. Well, the entire planet is shifting, and it's really, really true. It is, right? I mean, the planet is shifting itself right now physically, and so we're seeing the manifestation of what's happening within, you know, without, which is a Hermetic principle: as within, so without; as above, so below. One of the things that I think we have to keep in mind is that people are experiencing our planet, they're experiencing energetic shifts very differently. And so there's this huge call, I think, for those of us who are empaths and light workers to hold a lot of compassionate space for people. You know, I look at the planet and I see the planet one way right now, which is quite chaotic and disordered, which I always see as an opportunity to bring stability and peace and tranquility myself as medicine. But some people look at the planet and don't see that. And so that may be because, you know, there's their own, what they experience inside and what they experience outside is different. Or they see a disordered environment as ordered. Maybe the way that they, you know, experience things is opposed in some way to the way I experience it. So I'm noticing what they call cognitive dissonance right now across our planet, which is sort of holding two very disparate views at the same time and having to make sense of both. I'm noticing that is occurring a lot as a phenomenon. And it's very stressful. Cognitive dissonance is very stressful. Like, if my worldview is radically different from your worldview, how do we come to agreement? Where do we find a place to meet each other? But again, I think it's an opportunity for us to feel more deeply into the work that we're doing, because as you shift, your perspective is going to shift, and that necessarily has an effect on our planet as well. For sure. No, Stacey, it's a good question. I don't find that adding chipstones to perfume changes the scent in any way. And I think as long as you choose a stone that's stable, it's not going to, you know, break down in your perfume. That's why selenite wouldn't be good. That's why calcite might not be good. Your softer stones in the Mohs scale are going to be less able to keep up, you know what I mean, with the, you know, what can sometimes be an acidity on the part of some of those oils. But a lot of the ones that you guys have mentioned tonight are pretty stable and should be fine. Yeah, so, and I think it's good to go within, you know what I mean? Like, I would love to see you after class, if it's possible, and my life's as crazy as yours is, so I know what I'm saying is difficult, but I would love to see you now. Take a few minutes now that we're done, and just breathe. Close your eyes, and really, you know, smell your fingers. Sounds funny to say, but you just made perfume, and you smell amazing, and so, like, sit with the energy of what you just did, right? Look at your grid, take in the energy of that. You know, even just observe your herbs in the ashes of your herbs in your incense burner. Each one of those steps after ceremony allows you to deepen the connection with the tools that you are entering into relationship with, and I think it's really important to give yourself time to sit with those things. It's true. We are all ascending as a planet, no doubt about it. So the frequency for January, just to recap, is 174 megahertz, which is reduces down to 3, right? They all reduce to 369, and that is the pain relief frequency as well as the deep sleep and rest frequency. So that would be a good one for you to play before you go to sleep. Try to play it as loud as you can without annoying yourself and others. is my recommendation. No, so you don't have to let the oil sit for 24 hours before adding the carrier oil. You blend it all tonight. I didn't add my carrier oil yet, but I will probably in the morning. But before you use it, wait 24 hours because it's going to change on you. Probably usually for the better because it mellows, it softens, and it combines. So the oils need a chance to sort of live together a little bit before you really know how that perfume is going to smell. So if you loved it tonight, I'm sure you'll still love it tomorrow. If you didn't love it tonight, you actually might find that you fall in love with it after the 24-hour curing period. So I always say before you share with anybody, before you anoint with anything, definitely give it that 24-hour period. Fire opal would be rad, Colin. I think that would be a beautiful. Rutilated quartz, Melissa, would be absolutely beautiful as an option for you. Do you want me to go get the Mesa and show you? Can I go get the February Mesa? Oh, totally. Angel's like, can you play it in headphones? Absolutely, girl. Get your headphones out, especially if you have headphones that really allow you to experience the bass. Binaural beats are good too, right? Binaural beats give you sort of like the duality energy, right? So they allow you to experience 2 frequencies at once, and that's a very powerful medicine as well. Sound is sound. But I'll tell you something. I'll go get the Mesa in just a second. Here's what you need to do, though. And this might sound crazy if you haven't thought about it before. Try taking a break from traditional music. Most music is not composed in these sacred frequencies. Some music is. Did you know that some of the Beatles songs, a couple of Elton John songs, were composed in 432 megahertz? They knew. The songs that they play at graduation and at weddings and all of those songs are all composed in 432. High frequency music heals the body. Low frequency music actually has a disruptive effect on your cells. And so what I try to do, especially when I'm healing, is I wean myself off of everything except like Pandora stations that are spiritual in nature, and then the binaurals and the solfeggios. And you will experience a difference. And then what you'll notice is when you go back to play, and listen, I love Guns N' Roses and Depeche Mode and all those things, right? I grew up in the 80s. But too much of that, and I noticed that like I'm out of my zen. And so to get back, I have to go back to that music. Doesn't mean you can't have a good beat. Like Larice just mentioned the Jaguar song. That's Liquid Bloom. I love Liquid Bloom. Deadova. If you aren't familiar with Deadova, Deyaadova, you will love their Pandora station. It has a good beat. Like I cooked to Deadova, I danced to Deadova. Doesn't mean you can't have a good beat, but those are higher frequencies music, songs. And a lot of times, too, what one of my teachers taught me is that a lot of the musicians who record songs are going through extreme trauma when they're recording. And that trauma gets communicated through the music. So when they're going through their drug addiction and their alcohol problems and all of their, their rehab and withdrawals and relationship challenges and all of that, it's imprinted in the songs that they're recording. Which is sometimes why they don't even want to go back and listen to that music again. And so just be mindful. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying to make huge changes, but in service of like, you've committed to this work. And so if you really want to see it through, you've got to change the way you eat a little bit, right? You have to hydrate more. That's why we talk about lemon water and celery water and some of these like extreme forms of hydration for your body. You have to think about the music. You have to think about all those things. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get your Mesa. Hold on. Don't mind me. Let's see, where do I put my drum? How do I do this to show you? Carefully is the answer. Okay. I'm going to transfer from my drum up onto my desk here. There's a lot in this one. There's more in this Mesa than there was in January. And my Hunab Ku drum, which I've missed. Okay. Okay, this is your mesa. The goddess on your mesa is Ixcacao, who is the Mayan cacao goddess from the Mayan pantheon. The patterning on her face is Shipibo patterning. This is what you see in Ayahuasca Journey, which is really powerful. The flowers are actual cacao flowers. I was showing this earlier. They're actually shaped like stars. Do you see? They're a double star in cacao flowers. So these are actually photographs of cacao flowers that Gabriel made magical. Isn't that beautiful? And then, so this is the mini mesa. It's going to have, except the mini mesa also has a cacao flower on her third eye. And then it'll have your rose quartz generator. So this is your mesa mat. The Vesica Pisces is our sacred symbol. That's what's going to be on your necklace next month. Your rose quartz pie stone, which is coming. And then, so we're doing cacao ceremony. I had the cacao cups custom made for you. So they have our Soul Shift butterfly on them, and then little cacao leaves and cacao beans. So this is what we're going to be drinking our sacred cacao out of. You're getting your actual cacao. This is Peruvian cacao, 100% organic, all the things. And then we ground up for you organic lavender and organic rose to mix in to flavor it. And then you're getting your salt. Everything's labeled for you. I know, isn't that cool? Then we're making love spell bottles. So you're getting your jar, which you're going to fill with your herbs and anything else you want to add. Then you're going to add agave or honey, and then you're going to melt your beeswax candle over the top. I'll teach you how to do that. Be sure when you get your mesa that you look for this, which is what you're going to write your love intention on. And then you're going to add that to your bottle. So don't throw that away, okay? Then you're getting your herbs. Damiana, powerful aphrodisiac. Passion flower. Hibiscus flower. Sassafras bark. I have so much to tell you about all of those. Then you're getting your... we're doing pomegranate oil as the carrier oil instead of jojoba next month. We're going to be talking about Persephone, and pomegranate is important for love. And then your oils are ylang ylang, lovage leaf, and rosalina. I've never taught these two. I've never taught lovage or lovage, depending on how you pronounce it, and rosalina. I've never taught those before. So those are brand new to SG. And then here's your bottle and your label for your perfume. So you've got your cacao mesa label. Then your candle, isn't she beautiful, is Compassion. And it has the lovage, the rosalina, and the ylang ylang with hibiscus flowers and damiana on top. And then the only things I don't have to show you are the grid, the mini mesa, and the talisman, because those are arriving tomorrow. So your stones are emerald, pink petalite, quartz, rose quartz, pyramid in the center, and there's one more crystal I'm not remembering. Oh, and morganite, I believe. I think it's morganite, petalite, emerald, and rose quartz is your grid with clear quartz. And then your pendant is rose quartz with Vesica Pisces. And then the mini mesa is Ixcacao on the charging plate with a rose quartz generator that's engraved with the word love in gold. Touchdown! Woo! I kind of am patting myself on the back for remembering all that. That was a lot. Anyway, the value this next month in February is about, I would say, $15 to $20 more than the January mesa. So, and the price is the same. The price will always be the same. We are going to try and knock it out of the park every time. So, but we really worked hard this month. It's all love. And you know, cacao is a heart opener. So if you don't get a mesa for any reason, I will try to help you find a source to buy some pure cacao so that you have access to it, so that you can still do ceremony with us. So you have till midnight tomorrow to subscribe if you would like a mesa. If not, no worries. I don't want you to feel pressured, but I want to make sure you know that the deadline's coming so that you don't get mad later. Yeah, the mini mesa is really beautiful. And it was really cool because we had this whole conversation, like, you know, adding the cacao flower to her third eye. And as soon as we did that, it's like her whole face shifted. We put a lot of time and energy into these mesas, and I know you can feel it. Like, I've been doing kits for a long time. This is no kit. This is a flying carpet. This is a portal to a different dimension, and there's something very special about it. I'm so glad you're enjoying it, truly, truly. All right, well, any other questions before I go? What I'm going to do, con permiso, with your permission, is I'm going to either record a video answering these questions from the website or go live tomorrow to answer these for you. Does that work for you? Because I don't want to give them short shrift. They're powerful questions. Some of them are easy, like do we have to open a circle every time we want to go and sit with the mesa, or can we just light the candle? You of course can do that. You don't. It's when you're doing ceremony that you really want to go through all of the motions, right? If you're just sitting down, lighting your candle and just breathing, you know what I mean? You don't need to go through and open a circle and call in the 4 directions. I really reserve that for high ceremony. In case I forgot to tell you, please bring your mala. If you have a mala on Wednesday, we're going to recite Ganesha's mantra before we go into Shamanic Journey. I've been very guided to do that, and so you don't have to have a mala, but if you do have one, it would be a helpful tool for you to have for Wednesday's journey. Oh, that sounds wonderful. I think you should share it. Yes, 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 absolutely. Yeah, well, and there's a lot of questions like that. Like, as Jerica asked, how can we undo some of the astrological chips against us? You know, the best answer to that, honestly, is you do it with partnership. You know, I have so much fire that I can be harmful to myself. You know what I mean? Like, too much fire is not good. So what did I do? I married all earth, because, you know, you go across the wheel to balance yourself. So I married somebody who's all earth, and my son is a little bit of fire, but mostly earth. And so I have all this masculine support. And so you call it in, you call in whatever is opposite the wheel that you really, really need. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, so we're making perfume every month. I really hope you love the one from tonight. Next month, you're going to love that too. You really, really are. Especially if you've never worked with those oils before, you're going to be really excited about those, I think. Yeah, this mug, the guy who makes this is on Instagram. I think it's called Crystal Criminals. Isn't it pretty? And I don't know if I can show you without like spilling it all over myself, but it's gridded on the bottom. Let me see how far I can turn it. Do you see that? He made a grid on the bottom. Isn't that fun? Honestly, nicest guy too. I still try to like go and buy things from Etsy and from Instagram to support small shops, because I just think it's really cool how creative people are, and I like to put money into that so that they can continue their craft. So I bought this mug. I was like, I didn't say anything to him. I didn't tell him I was going to buy it. I didn't say, oh, you know. And so he writes to me within an hour, okay? And he said, I want to thank you for your purchase. We're really small. Your purchase allows me to continue to evolve my art. And you know, I hope I get to meet you at Tucson or Denver one day. And I just sat there and cried. I thought, this is what it's all about. You know what I mean? This guy's just super passionate, and me buying a mug helped him now be able to put more money into his craft and evolve what he's doing. It was really, really sweet. So we source our essential oils from all over the world, truly. So there isn't one place that we work with. We source them from all over the world. And we're really, really picky about quality of our oils. And so hopefully you're enjoying that as well too. But we really have to source everywhere, because there isn't one place to get all of these oils. I think at this point in Sage Goddess history, we've used, between classes and in different perfumes that we make, probably close to about 300 different essential oils, and they come from all different countries all over the world. But like in stock right now, I have 4 different kinds of jasmine, you know, Arabian jasmine, Egyptian jasmine, North American jasmine, and they're all really different. And then you think about, you know, something like the citrus family, right? And having 6 different oranges and 2 different bergamots, and so it's an endless quest for us to find sources of oils and to maintain the quality of them as well. For sure. Yeah, so Crystal Criminals, I think. I'm pretty sure on Etsy, or not Etsy, Instagram is where you can find him and his mug, and he's super special. I'm so glad you loved it. Well. So yeah, so if you subscribe to the January Mesa and you didn't cancel your subscription, you're all set for February. If you canceled it or don't have a subscription, you need to subscribe now. And so that's how you'll make sure you get a Mesa for February. Oh, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Lola's radiating Mogra Attar from her hands. There's nothing better than that, girl. Enjoy it. And tell that beautiful soul at Crystal Criminals that I said hi. as he gets 100 custom orders for mugs tonight. God bless him. I hope that energy wave just blesses him and all the work that he's doing. We should support people. You know, it's like, I really think it's true. I actively try to put some of my resources back into other artists' shop. And I think it's really important to do that. It keeps the good energy flowing. Where would we be without artists trying to establish their craft? Where would we be? You know, you really think about that. It's pretty incredible, right? He's a sweetheart. You'll love him. You really will. He's a cutie pie. All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to sign off for now. It's 5:55. What a beautiful time to be signing off. I'll come in with answers to questions tomorrow, either in video or live with you. And then Wednesday is session 3. We're going to be doing a shamanic journey. I hope you're excited. We're going to journey with Ganesha. My intention is that he's going to show you the obstacles you need to overcome in 2019. It gives me chills all over to tell you that. So we're going to ask Ganesha to show us the obstacles ahead in 2019 and to show us the roadmap to overcome them together. So this is a success meditation, but it's a very different kind of success meditation. And I think you're going to enjoy it a lot. Crystal singing bowls, don't even get me started. Honestly, eBay is the best source. It really is. They don't sell them out of China. They really don't. It's like on lockdown. So what I always tell people is, I can't get them for you at a better price than they are on eBay, so you should go to eBay. I'm still trying to crack the code there, but it'll be a while before we have crystal singing bowls, just because I still think you could probably get a better size and a better price on eBay. So that's where I would send you for now. All right, I'm glad you're excited. Mwah, hugs and kisses. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad you loved class. I was delighted to share this with you tonight. Enjoy your perfume. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you tomorrow.